Let's do one thing. Let's talk about Kansai Nerolac paints. Q1 was a muted quarter for them on expected external weakness. Their decorative business was also impacted by elections as well as the heat wave. Anuj Jain, who is the managing director of Kansai Nerolac paints, joins us now. Anuj, thanks a lot for joining in. You know, it is this muted performance that is kind of worrying, but that's been the case with the entire industry. So your company is no different. I wanted to understand a little bit about what the volume growth was in both the decorative and the automotive business in the quarter gone by, and what are the targets for the full year?
So overall, if you see, the volume growth was mid-single digit. Decorative, you can say low single digit. And I think the growth was driven by auto in the first quarter. And as you rightly said, in decorative, it was muted. The non-auto also, it was muted. But I think going forward, because the monsoons are good, and the first quarter, I think it is clearly understood that why the demand was low. And we have seen some pickup in the month of June. And therefore, we foresee that the demand in decorative will improve gradually. And non-auto, in fact, we have seen the good uptick in the month of June. And based on the continued thrust on the infrastructure and the order pipeline, what we see, we feel that it is going to be a strong growth in the coming quarters.
Okay, strong growth in the coming quarters. Got it. So, any price hikes? Since growth is looking good, do you think you can take more price hikes? You can pass on more price hikes to the consumer? If yes, what has the quantum been so far, and how much do you plan to do further?
We have seen some 1.5 to 2% of inflation, which already happened. And to mitigate that, two price increases have already been. So one is already implemented, and one is in pipeline. So overall, between 1.5 to 2% of price increase is what we are going for.
So hi, morning. So you're saying that both are done now in terms of price increases? One will go into effect?
One is done, and the other will come into effect in the coming month.
Okay, got it. Now, could you tell us, so both on the decorative side, non-auto and auto, what kind of volume growth are we to expect? I remember you telling us on the auto side, you'd much rather look at the value growth, decorative volume growth. So could you give us where you're at and what you see for the full year, FY25?
So if you remember last time also I discussed that in automotive, we are expecting a production growth of 6 to 7%, and therefore the paint growth could be similar to that. In decorative for the entire year, there could be some kind of up and down during the quarters. But we still feel that higher single-digit volume growth is definitely possible, during the year.
Okay, all right. Hi, sir. Good morning, and good to see you. When if you could tell us about your premium product business as well. You've exited some low-margin businesses. What is the mix currently, premium versus economy, and how do you see it panning out?
So one of part of our strategy was to increase the saliency of the premium item, and that is applicable in decorative also. That is applicable in some segments of the industrial segment also. And in that regard, last 1.5 years, we have taken a lot of initiative and it is doing well. So the premium saliency, even in the first quarter, in decorative has gone up. And even in the other parts of the non-auto industrial business, it has gone up. And that is something which you can see is reflecting in the expansion of our gross margins.
Okay, but you want to put a percent to it?
In decorative, it is closer to 30%, the premium saliency now.
Okay, in decorative, 30% is coming in from the premium part of it. Got it. Also, a word on competition. Birla Opus, they have been quite competitive in their pricing, but now you have price hikes that are coming about. So how do you see the competitive landscape shape up?
I think this market is quite big, and industry growth, consistently it is growing. I said earlier also that per capita consumption of paint is lower. 25% is coming from the informal sector. So I think, and also this, especially in the decorative, the industry is more dependent on the influencer. So with the more competition coming in, I see a positive that it will spur a better growth of the industry over a period of time. Because when new good people participate in the market, more communication, more visibility. So this helps in terms of increasing the penetration. We have seen in some other categories also. Also, this effort will result into bringing consumer more closer to the category. So that also will help. So overall, I feel that over a period of time, it's a positive impact in the industry because market growth through per capita or the informal to formal will go up. and more involvement of the consumer, and that will be good for the entire category.
Okay. So, when you talk about the category growth, right, overall, in the slightly medium to longer term, now that there is broadening of the category, more players are coming in, more, distribution is picking up, more capex is being put on board. What kind of sort of sustainable growth do you see for the industry over the next 1 to 2 years?
No, I can comment, if you see last 5-10 years, industry has been growing in double digit, and I see no reason that why over a period of 3-5 years, why the industry will not grow at the rate of same, double digit growth. And in that growth, if, new players are there and, maybe 2%, 3%, 5% of the growth gets allocated to the new player, it's fine. I think over a period of time, industry will get reset. But I do see, advantage to the industry in terms of 1 or 2% additional growth coming in because of the new competition and therefore the innovations. And so that is how I see it.
What about the adhesives business, sir? How much does it contribute to your total revenues? And I think you had given a target of 5% of total sales. You could correct me on that number, but if you could tell me by when?
So adhesive is a part of our new business. In new businesses, we have construction chemical, waterproofing, adhesive. And in totality, now this new business is contributing approximately 10% to our total business. Adhesive is a separate subsidiary. And, there we have industrial adhesives and the consumer adhesives also. But it's a part of a total new business, which contribute about 10% to us.
Okay, we will, end this discussion on that note. Thanks a lot for joining in. That's Kansai Nerolac with their view on the business and the way forward.